My name is Rhonda Tsoi-A-Fatt Bryant, and I am my brother's keeper. I lead Forward Promise, a national program of the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. Our vision is simple: boys and young men of color thriving. In 2 years, we've been proud to invest over $3 million in the programming and capacity building of 9 organizations that use cultural healing practices to create safe spaces for the growth and empowerment of our boys and young men of color. We're working with an inaugural cohort of Forward Promise Fellows, 20 amazing intergenerational leaders advancing healing for boys and young men, their communities, and themselves. The greatest challenge we face in our effort to ensure that boys and young men of color are thriving is the racial stress and trauma they experience from dehumanization every single day. To create a world where our boys know they matter and can reach their full potential, my call to action is for all of us to work together to end the cycle of dehumanization that is stopping our boys from thriving. Ending dehumanization happens in 4 critical ways. First, we must continually challenge the negative narratives about our boys and tell our own stories. These narratives influence how they see themselves and are the springboard for how people make decisions about them and the issues that impact their lives. Our boys are powerful. Our boys are gifted. Our boys are forces for good. That is the message that people need to hear. Second, we have to undo and heal the harmful internal feelings that are blocking the progress of our boys and young men. Not being connected to one's history, culture, and legacy, it's isolating and it's traumatizing, and the conditions that they face navigating the world each day are stressful. We have to support organizations that provide protection, restore hope, build positive self-image, and create power for our boys. Third, we must turn around the destructive patterns in our communities. When we understand that destructive behaviors or patterns are merely a response to trauma, then we will deal with our boys and young men of color more compassionately. We have to support organizations that use cultural healing practices to show empathy, give redirection, and provide the skills needed to take full advantage of the opportunities for another chance. There is power, healing, and restoration in our cultures. It's who we are. We must give that to our boys, all of them. And finally, we must overturn the dangerous actions in our society that harm our boys and young men. In every system that touches young people and their families, we see the examples of unequal treatment and outcomes. The practices and policies created at every level of decision-making in this country must be weighed for how they impact the lives of our boys and young men of color. Without this advocacy, they'll continue to be at the bottom despite our best efforts. There is a role in this work of ending dehumanization for each and every one of us in this room and everyone watching online. The path forward is clear. Let's support our boys and young men of color to heal, to grow, and to thrive.